I ain't had time, I got time now. Yeah, I'm about to shine and design now. Going coast to coast when we dine out. Put the coach on the map when we flying out. Know I gotta win when we ride out. And I ain't gotta spin when I buy now. Love, power, respect is on our mind now. If I don't tell you when, I mean right now. I ain't allergic to it. King flow through my blood when you heard the music. Yeah, and for my land, I put the dirt into it. I'm a god on this earth, I deserve to do it. Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of the Black Carpet Podcast, where we like to introduce you to ordinary people doing extraordinary things. I am your host, DJ Double L, and today I got a very special guest with me, man. This man is a serial entrepreneur. This man wears many hats. He is definitely somebody that I admire from the business world. My man, Mr. Mike Coleman, how you doing, bro?
How you doing, man? Appreciate it.
Man, I definitely appreciate you coming to sit down with me, man. We're gonna get right into it, man. Like I said, I definitely appreciate you. Thank you. For the people who don't know who Mike Coleman is, can you kind of give my viewers who is Mike Coleman?
Mike Coleman is North Chicago. So North Chicago. Born and raised, grade school, middle school, high school.
So you
all the different businesses and things of that nature is pretty much North Chicago. I do majority of my work there. I try to employ there. So
you are a war hawk through and through.
For sure.
That's dope. So you say you born and raised North Chicago. What was life like for you growing up as a kid in North Chicago?
So I mean life for me growing up as a kid in North Chicago was, I think I came up in a time when North Chicago was a wild place to be. You know, it wasn't real quiet there. That's where everybody came to turn up and do they crap and whatever the case may be. We had the different blocks. I grew up on 22nd and Hervey, Broadway, all through that area right there. It was just somewhere in that area we lived at. That's where we hung out at. That's where we did our dirt at. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that North Chicago taught me everything I know, you know, from the streets, from seeing the guys, from, you know, just examples being made from other people. So, okay.
So I know most serial entrepreneurs, they kind of get that mindset as a youngster. Like with you, is that when that happened for you, or was there a moment as you got older that when you started seeing like, okay, I'm gonna start getting into entrepreneurship?
Nah, I started entrepreneurship at the age of 15, probably 14. I was hustling. I was in the streets.
Okay.
So I had already understood and knew that I was a hustler and wanted to get some money, and that was just that. You know, I knew that I wasn't cut out to be, you know, no killer, or no robber, or, you know what I mean? None of that. I'm gonna get some money, you know, and I felt like what I was doing was getting some money in the most illegalist way, you know? So that was my thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like right now as a business owner, like what does a normal day for you look like?
My
normal day.
My days are, I mean, there is no normal days.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of freestyle it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The days are never set because things are very fluid in, you know, the different aspects of the businesses that I do have, that I own, that I run. So, I mean, I can't say that I put a lot more time into my businesses and things of that nature than I do for myself and probably for my kids. So it's definitely time consuming, and I definitely want to change it, mm-hmm. you know, like right away. So
how are you able to like balance that as far as like entrepreneurship versus family and personal life and stuff like that?
I think right now I'm not really like too concerned about self. I think right now I just feel like I'm building a mountain right now, and I'm building a legacy. So I mean, selfish. I know I do want to travel. I mean, sometimes I do get burnt out, so I want to start to travel and kind of get myself some resets throughout the year. Definitely need to create a better relationship with my kids time wise. You know, I take care of my kids, but I mean, time wise and creating memories and things of that nature is more important, especially as I get older. You know, I want to be able to laugh with my kids and, you know, and have pictures and have videos to show them, you know, when they're adults, to say, hey, you remember we did this.
Right. So how old are your kids now?
14, 18. I got ghetto triplets.
Oh, don't worry about it. I do too. Now,
I got ghetto triplets.
I got 15, 15, and 15.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand that. I don't want to say struggle, but
2011 was a good year.
Young mistakes, so, right?
Yeah, it was a good year. You know, it's a blessing. You know, my kids are
definitely.
here, and you know, my kids. If I don't got anybody, I got them. So
right, I definitely understand that for sure. Now I know there's a big misconception when it comes to entrepreneurship, that people get to wake up when they want and go to sleep when they want. Like, is that a reality for you?
No, it's not true.
Right.
It's false. Because
how many? Let's say, how many hours a day do you put into building your business?
I'm going. I'm all the way through. I mean, I may have to come in and fill in for a driver on one of my landscaping trucks or a plow truck. I may have to fill in on the food truck. You know, if I don't have a cook to get on the food truck. You know, at the restaurant, I fill in up there. I fill in wherever I need to fill in at 11:19, and that doesn't close until 12, 1, 2 sometimes. So it's ongoing. It never stops. Things don't go smooth. I mean, that's what we want, but it just never works out that way.
Right. Okay.
You know, it's always something that needs to be attended to, or something that has broke, or it's just always something. Right. It's never a smooth moment in this. You know, I think the only benefits that come from this is, you know, just the success of doing great and making money.
Right.
But I mean, it's always work to be done.
Definitely always work to be done. I know you right now you've been speaking about 1119 and the food truck and stuff like that, but I know you had a couple businesses before you guys kind of opened up and started 1119.
Yeah.
One of your first ventures that I remember was being an event promoter.
Correct.
How did you get into that? Like, where did that start, and how did you get into that?
I think so. I got into the event promoting because it was something that I can kind of control my own cash. I can control the decision making of an entire event. I didn't have to really report to anyone. Everything that I was doing was a rental or a contracted agreement. So, I mean, like I said, for promotion, I didn't really do well. You know what? To be honest, me and Gold started out at Flanagan's, and this was many years ago. Like me and Gold was the ones that really did like the parties. Like,
right.
Lake County still to this day hasn't seen the parties that we was doing at Flanagan's.
Yeah,
you know,
I
ever.
remember some of the Flanagan parties.
You know, it was crazy. You know, Flanagan's. You know, I've been in Sundance. I know a lot of us hadn't been able to get in the Lakehurst Event Center. I mean, I've been all over, all over Lake County. But you know, Flanagan's was the start for us, and that just put the mindset together. And then I moved on and started doing artists, which was more so in the Milwaukee, Wisconsin market because it was untapped. Nobody was really doing artists up there like that. They was doing artists, but they wasn't doing the bigger name artists. Yeah. So it was like, okay, cool. Let me go up here. Nobody knew me. They just knew my brand. I could walk past a person and they wouldn't even know who I was. But you would always get that excitement and that buzz. Like, man, Twin Tower throwing another party. It's a Twin Tower event. Like, is dude or she really coming. You know, just to hear them be like, man, Twin Tower doing that, they don't miss.
They don't miss.
Yeah,
it was definitely like that when I was first seeing it. Like if you seen that Twin Tower at the top of the event flyer, you knew it was gonna be busting.
yeah.
So how did you end up because you eventually end up growing that to like concerts and stuff, like bigger size events? Like how did you end up scaling your business to get to that level?
Just taking a chance, a risk. I mean, you got to understand a recipe that's small that feeds 2 people can also feed 2 million people. You know,
break that down for me.
You just need to stretch it out. You know, if you're using 2 cups of water, then you might need to use 50 gallons of water. You know,
but you're still using the water.
You're still using the water, so it's still the same blueprint. It's just on a bigger level. You know, you're not getting these smaller venues anymore. You're getting bigger venues now. You're not using 10 security, you're using 50 security. You know what I mean? You're not using 1 host. You got 2 hosts. You know, you're not using a venue that holds 500. The venue now holds 25,000.
So with moving to scaling to that size, did you start to experience like more issues and more problems, like trying to put them together and stuff like that?
Anytime you're spending more money and you have the potential to make more money, then you're always going to have problems. Everybody's not happy. And it's because sometimes it's you and not them. So you have a lot of people that are not happy for that situation, so they try everything in their power to bring it down. And you got to keep in mind, when that situation was small, they didn't care.
Right.
So, yeah.
So are you still in that space currently?
I'm not really doing big events right now, per se. Right now, the market is really saturated. Artists are overcharging right now. So it's kind of right now, I think the promoters are really we're focusing on humbling the artists to let them know that, you know, you got to understand a lot of the money that the artists have made, they no longer are humbling themselves to understand that those 25,000s and then 50,000s add up, you know, just because this big corporation came in and gave you $1 million or $2 million to do these dates, it's not going to keep happening.
Right.
You know, that money's going to run out versus consistency and longevity and making sure the smaller promoters are able to feed you just as well as the bigger promoters.
Right.
So, you know, right now we're really letting them figure out that, you know, you need to bring the prices down if you want us to book you. It has to be a fair thing. You know, we're not counting your pockets. You shouldn't be counting ours.
So is that why you kind of slowed down a little bit with?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, like I said, we're gonna try something different, especially with the restaurant. We're gonna try to do a run with some of the smaller artists, some reality TV, you know, people and things of that nature. So you'll still see marketing and things of that nature now, but just not on that huge scale. You know, it's a time and an opportunity to do things, and you know, right now we're just turning it down, but we can turn up at any time now.
And you still doing it under the Twin Tower
for sure.
imprint?
Twin Tower Entertainment. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for life.
Dope. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, at some point, you kind of pivoted from the entertainment industry to landscaping.
Correct.
Now you own Tri-State Platinum Landscaping.
Correct.
What made you end up getting into landscaping?
So my grandfather owned a landscaping company in North Chicago. When I was a kid, it was J.C. Coleman Landscaping. He had he was like one of the only black landscaping companies in the area. Him and Mr. Daniels. And so he definitely had that. So I'd already had like that imprint in my head. But what really got me into it was the beginning. It was probably, my daughter's 18 now, so probably my daughter was like 5 or 6, and I got put on child support. So I had to give me a job. And I'm like, man, I'm finna do something that I kind of like and know how to do. And I went on Craigslist and I found a landscaping job and kind of just went from there. I started working for the guy, and Ended up getting in some trouble, went away for a while, came back, and I'm like, man, what'd you do with that landscaping company? He was just like, oh, I still got the truck and the trailer. You know, you can buy it from me, and I give you a couple contracts. And I started out with one truck and one trailer, and and a best friend, and we went from there. Now we're up to 5.
You up to 5 trucks now?
5 trucks, 5 trailers, and yeah, we're working.
So what strategies did you use to grow this particular company? I know I asked you how to scale
well,
that
the
one.
landscaping company, it's kind of crazy because you got to remember, like, that business right there. If you look at familiarity and what we're used to seeing the Hispanics pull up in the landscaping truck. So it was kind of like one of those things, and I used like my social media. I used my social media to my advantage. I said, man, I got all these ladies on my social media. They all single, or got a dude that don't want to cut the grass. Let me market my business, and see who don't want to go out there and cut their grass no more. So started out with a lot of residents. I think at one point in time I was doing over 200 houses. So I remember I used to see the guys, they'd be laughing. They'd be like, man, you cutting grass. You used to be getting money. Now you cutting grass. And I'm like,
yeah,
I used to just laugh at them
right.
like, you don't even know what you're talking about, bro.
Right.
So we started out doing the houses. We got the opportunity to do the city of North Chicago. A lot of landscaping there. I still do that. Falls Park came around. We started doing the parks. A lot of these big apartment complexes around here. And so as the business grew, I just bought more supplies to cater to the business. I didn't buy it just because it was pretty and it was new. I bought things that I knew I needed. I knew when I picked up contracts where I had to cut 30 and 40 acres at a time, I would need these huge lawnmowers that was fast and also huge to be able to efficiently cut 40 acres in one day, And I mean, now we're down to cutting 40 acres in 4 hours. You know what I mean? So, when you come past and you see the youth center, I think that's in North Chicago, that's 32 acres or somewhere around there. When you go down to the Falls Park by the beach, that's like 40, somewhere around there. We get those done, and one day we get all the cutting done. We had to go back through and weed eat and things of that nature. But I mean, the business just continued to grow, and then it just came word of mouth. You know what I mean? Word of mouth. When you take pride in your business and your work, and you take it serious, the work really shows. You know what I mean? It shows, and when you have perfectionists that work for you, they want the same thing that you want, and I could say Gold was a huge part of my business because he was there for so long, and I understood when it was time for him to go. It was I'm getting a little older and I need some different type of benefits and things of that nature, so it was understood.
Okay. All right, so I know you mentioned earlier, I mean, like in your last answer, how we not really known for being in that space of landscaping. How hard was it you kind of navigating and carving your own path, considering most African Americans are not known to be in landscaping, because it's usually, like you said, it's the Hispanics. So how hard was it you kind of navigating through that and getting people to trust you as an African American as opposed to somebody who we used to seeing and we like, okay, well, we'll trust them because we know they do it?
I mean, just the way that we marketed all our work. We always took pictures of the work that we was doing just to show people. Sometimes you have to show a person.
Proof of concept.
You can tell them whatever you want to tell them, but if you can't prove it, then I don't believe you.
Right.
And so again, just coming from my marketing background and my promotion, I knew how to market and promote my business organically, using things that was free instead of having to pay to do it. And then just word of mouth, word of mouth is, just your platform and your brand is everything.
Right.
So, I mean, as long as you're protecting the brand at all costs, that's gonna speak for itself.
Facts. That is definitely facts. Do you still run the day-to-day operations for Tri-State, or have you moved now to having somebody else kind of manage that?
Cameron Brown, he been with me about probably about 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
He been with me, about 8 years. Gold was with me longer, but Gold didn't really want a leadership role. Gold just wanted to come and work. And,
Right.
and go, I don't want to be responsible for nothing. Let me come work, smoke my blunt real quick, man, and
get through this grass and get up out of here.
Get up out of here. So, yeah, Cameron's been with me about 8 years. He runs it. I rarely go out there. I go out there sometimes. I went out there plowing yesterday, but for the most part, they take care of everything. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
Okay, so you done kind of grew that company to kind of be on autopilot in a sense. And you pivoted again to now being involved in the restaurant business.
Correct.
Where did that, what made you decide, okay, because that's kind of a different jump in fields, or, from landscaping to restaurants. So what kind of made you get into that?
Well, I bought a building, bought some property, and I was like, man, the building's sitting, let me holler at sis and see what she want to do. I mean, I'd rather, keep it in-house and family than to, kind of put it out there, And we sat and talked and kind of brainstormed some ideas. I'm like, hey, run with it. And, I'll definitely market and promote it, the same way. Again, like you said, the brand is everything, And when you have a brand and a platform, you can sell anything,
Right.
I can sell you whatever. Them kids that you see on the corner selling lemonade, I can probably sell the lemonade in jugs. You know what I mean? Just because of what I built. I built a machine, that is able to push out something. I also own the whole Lake County page, so I market a lot through there, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people that market through there.
Including myself.
Yeah.
Shout out to the whole Lake County page.
I don't even. It's on autopilot now. I don't even go on there.
Right.
I see it come through. I get people every now and then saying, "Man, can you approve my post, Mike?" And I'm like, somebody approve it. I got about 30 people that can approve posts on there. So
okay.
Yeah, somebody approve it if it's supposed to be approved.
Right.
So yeah.
So what's some differences in being a part of the restaurant industry versus running the landscaping company?
Restaurant is just it's always just something that's going on. Something that needs to be. Those type of businesses are like babies. It's like they never really grow up.
Right.
They get bigger as far as business wise, but they need a lot of attention. And so you're hands on, and just depending on what the time frame is, if you're open from 11 to 1 o'clock in the morning, it's going to need attention all the way through. As long as the doors is open, it requires a lot of attention. And so it's a huge difference,
Was the process of opening a restaurant, was that a tough process to have to go through?
I mean, like I said, for that, the business side of all that stuff is, is my sister, so it was easy for me. All I had to do was jump in and
help
do whatever she needed me to do, and let's go. You know what I mean? And I got you. So, for me, a lot of this stuff comes easy. It's stressful. I mean, not to, people say, "How do you do it?" And I can't really explain the hard side of it because it's been so easy for so long. Everything is just easy. I mean, it's really just determination and being willing to fail. A lot of the lessons I learned was from failure. I maybe didn't fail in public, or, I mean, it's simple. Going down the stairs, I may have went down the stairs and missed a stair and rolled down them. I ain't gonna miss it again. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was failure to me. So, you don't continue to miss. You don't continue to have the same mishaps.
Okay. Now you guys do have shall I say, because I've eaten that before, a very good menu.
Yeah.
with all of the menu, like all of the food choices, directions you guys could have went with the food choice, like what made you guys decide like the soul food centered type menu outside of the obvious?
So it's a soul food. It's a soul food Southern. It's actually Southern. The menu is more Southern than soul.
Mm.
And
Now,
I think a lot of people that know, they know. You know, when you look at catfish and grits, shrimp and grits, chicken and waffles, anything dealing with grits, the chicken and waffles, the French toast, catfish, chicken, those items really are like a Southern type of menu. You know, so we kind of did some Southern, mixed it in with the more popular seafood items, mixed it in with a little bit of 5-star dinish where you can eat some lamb chops and some lobster tails. You know what I mean? Right. So it was just a mixture of everything. And I think that's the reason why, you know, it continues to excel and, you know, be successful, is just because it's a mixture of pretty much everything. I mean, we got the soul food sides, and so a lot of times people are like, oh, it's soul food because you got greens, mac, and yams. Those are always the three that's gonna put you in a different light, you know, because I mean, you can have good meats, but what sides you got?
Right.
You know?
So I know you said that it's funny that you mentioned like the upscale part of y'all menu and everything like that. I remember when you guys were first kind of opening up, that was one of your missions to kind of give our community an opportunity to kind of eat upscale without having to go outside of the neighborhood. Yeah. Do you feel like you guys have kind of accomplished that?
Yeah, we get everything. So we get everything, and that's the great part about it. You don't have to come in there like you just, you know, spent everything in your pocket, you know, to look a certain way. You don't have to come that way. You can. You have a lot of people that do want to dress up. You have people that don't. So it's like we're not going to turn you around because you're not looking like the next person. You know, as long as you're looking presentable and you're carrying yourself presentable, that's all we care about.
Right. Okay. So I kind of want to pivot a little bit to kind of talk more of the person as a boss. If I was to ask your employees, like, what kind of boss are you? What you think they'll say?
I'm probably gonna say I'm an asshole.
Does it take being an asshole to be a successful boss, you think?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you have to take everything that you're doing serious, because once you don't take it serious, they don't take it serious either.
Right.
And so, I mean, you want to be friendly, but you don't want this to turn into, oh, that's my guy, or that's bro, or that's, you know. You don't want that, because the respect goes out the window.
Right. That kind of goes into my next question, because it was going like, how do you navigate being a business owner, but you know your customer base is mostly like a lot of, you know, associates and friends and stuff like that. Like, how do you navigate being growing a successful business but still having to cater to them? And like you said, they have that concept where it's like, man, bro, let me get a discount, man, bro. Why you putting me out? Because I'm, you know, like, how do you navigate that?
I think the real supporters, you know, whether it's landscaping, whether it's restaurant, food truck, whatever, the real supporters don't ask for discounts.
Facts.
They just come and they come and support. You know, they're not checking for the price. They just come and support. They're like, man, it's, you know, I'm proud of him, or I'm proud of her, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they just there to support. You know, that's real love. That's real supporters right there. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, when you're going to support don't come with a discount.
Facts.
You know, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it because I want to do it, you know?
So what's the in your opinion, what's the hardest thing about running a business?
I think the hardest thing about running a business is just time, being able to being able to allot the time to, when you have multiple businesses, to be able to separate and give each business that amount of time. You know, sometimes you get so caught up in one business that you don't pay attention to the things that are tearing and breaking down in the other business. So I think just like time-wise and just making sure you have the right people in place.
So would you not, like, because I know you mentioned earlier, like, every day is different. Every day is not the same. Like, so how do you manage that time if you can't, like, verbatim, like, manage the time? Like, hey, I got to be here at this time, and I got to be here at this. Like, how do you manage that?
I can't answer that. That just it's just organic. It just happens. You know, I miss a lot of things too. You know, and I've always said it. People always say, "Man, you need an assistant." I'll say it sometimes. I need an assistant. I just haven't. The crazy part about it, it's not about paying an assistant. I just don't want to take the time to train the assistant of what I actually need them to do.
Right.
Yeah. You know. And so it's almost like I'm just like, hey, when is somebody gonna step into my world and just be able to just take over and be like, and just step to me and say, Mike, yeah, I took care of that, and that. And I'm like, and just wow me like,
right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Come on, you hired. You know what I mean? You did all that already. So
do you allow people to get close enough to you to be able to do that though?
It's people that know me. It's people that are around to see enough. They're around to see the things that I actually have to do. You don't actually have to be up under a person to see what they have to do. You can just observe.
Right.
You know, you can see the things that kind of stress them and kind of, hey, I get a little frustrated sometimes because I do have too much to do. So, you know what I mean? If you're an observer, you're watching, or or you're around me close enough to just see, like, man, bro got a lot on his plate, then, you know.
So you seem like a guy that's like that knows systems, people, and risk. That, like, you comfortable with that. Like, right. Where did that mindset come from?
Oh, the streets. The streets. That was it.
That simple.
The streets. Yeah. The streets is risk 101.
Facts.
Yeah, that's it right there. And so many people I know that are successful that came out of the streets. I was like, the streets gonna teach you more than the books, bro. You know, what was in the streets it's not in the books.
Right.
But what's in the books is in the streets. It's different.
So that's funny that you said that.
Yeah.
That was actually finna lead into my next question. Like, what are some things that you've learned that the books can't teach you, but that's like essential to you being successful in business?
I mean, for me, it was always risk versus reward. You know, so I knew that I'm gonna get to it, and hope that I don't get myself in no jam or no situation. And in the meantime, let me get to it for real, because I just might happen that way. You know what I mean? And it also taught me just to spend. It's crazy. Like, I look at a lot of these other different races, and I say different race because I think a lot of them have been the risk takers, where African Americans are more on the cautious side. You know, and they always want to be like, man, I'm cautious. I don't know about that, and that I don't know is what would have been the jackpot. Right. Now you're saying, damn, I should have did that when, you know, Billy or John did it already.
So where do you think that mindset comes from with us as African Americans? Because I agree with you totally, 100%.
Yeah.
That we definitely have that, like, cautious mentality.
That I can't say, but I know our culture is hustlers though, so it's like,
which kind of,
it doesn't make sense to me, because one thing about it is, like, other cultures will risk it all and fail, and they're just done. We risk it all, we fail, we right back at it. Like, man, I'm finna get that back, man. Right. I ain't going like that.
I'm finna find something else.
Yeah, I'm gonna find something else to do it. But then again, a lot of times we may have 100,000 and only want to invest $30,000.
That's how it's like. So do you think it's a case of like we just do it? We do have that mentality, but we have it on a smaller scale where we're not taking such big risks.
You're not taking such big risks, and that's the thing. That's the reason why we're so far behind.
Mm-hmm.
Is because if you'd have just took the big risks, then you would have been right there in the race,
right,
with everybody else. You know.
Yeah. So as a person who done started several companies, like, how do you know when it's time to kind of pivot to something else? Because you started a company, then you kind of slowed down, or you kind of pulled away, then you started something else, then now you've grown another company, and then you've involved with starting another one.
I think everything is. I think things start to. When I talked about how the businesses are like babies, I think sometimes you start to get a little bit comfortable and say, okay, cool. This one, it's okay. You know, it's not perfect, but it's okay. You know, let me move on to try something different. You know, and the crazy part about it, my mind is always working on something every single day. But by me having so much on my plate, I never actually really finish any ideas now. I'll like something for 2 weeks and then I won't.
Right.
You know, or I get bored with it, or something else will come along that's better.
So how did you guys end up starting, like, what did you, well, I guess I can kind of answer that for myself, but I want to hear from you. Like, what made you decide to move 1119 from being the brick and mortar to now having it to be able to go on the go? Like, when did you make that decision to, like?
Well, the food truck that's mine right there. So it's, I just knew that a lot of people wasn't able to experience what this food was like. So it's like, hey, I can go drive 30 minutes and put this food in somebody's face and make them drive 30 minutes to come get some more.
Right. So do you guys offer the same menu on the truck as you guys do in the?
It just depends. The menus change on the food trucks. You know, we're really getting off into. I think this year I want to really dig into the sports, high school sports. That's big right now with the food trucks.
You mean like pulling up to the games and stuff like that?
Yeah, a lot of places are getting rid of the concession stands are no longer traditional anymore.
Facts.
People don't want to eat hot dogs and a burger no more. You know what I mean? At that, it's not even grilled. It's a boiled hot dog. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people are, you know, the games are a lot more interesting. High school sports is really big. Even the smaller AAU sports and the football little leagues. That it's big business right now. And you know, like I said, it's bringing crowds out that are huge and bigger and bigger and bigger. And you know, you have all these different events that go on. I don't just take the food truck out like just and sit on the corner. It's got to be an event. So like, I'm not coming unless it's an event.
It's strategic when you taking it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know as we get older, your goals and stuff like that kind of changes from when you, let's say, 20-something years old. So now, what is your definition of success now, as opposed to what you probably thought it was earlier in life?
My success is always, I just tell myself I made it farther than what I expected to make it. You know, and I just keep that mentality in my head that I made it farther than I expected to make it, you know, and I just keep going from there. I'm never satisfied. I don't feel like I made it. I feel like that I'm just doing what others wouldn't do.
Okay.
You know, so
was entrepreneurship always a goal for you, or did that kind of just happen out of like necessity, like you needed to go get your own?
No, entrepreneurship was, I didn't really have a choice. You know, after I went to prison at 17, so
Okay.
it was pretty much over for me to try to get my life on track where I can go work wherever I wanted to work at. You know, once you get that X on your back, it's a lot different.
Yeah.
You know? Life changes for you. You know, nowadays they're more lenient with having the X on your back. You know, but at that point in time, that was that big question on the application. Have you been convicted of a felony? You know what I mean? And so I just was like, I've always been a hustler. I can just do it on my own, you know?
So even with moving like that, like how tough has it been even moving in the legal world with having that record on you, you know what I'm saying, on your back?
Nobody cares. Once you get some money, nobody cares about that. You know?
That makes sense.
Because they know it's going to happen one way or the other. You know, whether it's you doing it or whether it's the next person doing it.
So what are some lessons that you had to learn the hard way that you would kind of like want to save somebody else from? Like if you had to.
I think the biggest thing that is going on right now, and you know, I hear people cry about it all the time. Say, "Man, monkey see, monkey do. Why are you doing that?" And I think what it is, it's great. It's great for business. I'm one of the people I never cared. I wouldn't care if somebody opened up across the street from me, you know, or somebody else came with some better trucks or better prices on landscaping. For me, I don't care. I'm going to stick to what I've been doing. And you have a lot of these people nowadays that are trying these businesses out, and I think they don't understand that this is not a game. You know?
Yeah.
You can't try something out, and because you see the next person make it look easy, does not mean that same thing is going to happen for you.
Right.
It's so many hiccups. It's so many different things that are that you just don't know, that you've never experienced. You know, it's doors behind this. It's so many trap doors and hidden doors that nobody won't. I can't tell you about it because some of these things I haven't even experienced yet. You know what I mean? So it's like if you're not built for that mentally, if your bank account is not built for that physically, bruh, it's gonna be ugly for you.
Okay. So this is kind of me trying to just take my own little sneak peek or exclusive. I know earlier, or I saw online a little while ago that you were teasing that you kind of had something else coming down the rafters.
Yeah, I got one more thing.
You got one more thing? Can we get it?
It's my last lap.
Yo.
Yeah, got one more thing, but
now is that already in the field of something that you're already a part of, or is he moving into a whole different?
It kind of works hand in hand with some things that I got going on. So yeah, it's gonna work. It's gonna work hand in hand.
So we should be looking forward to something new coming from Mike Coleman soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So before we get out of here, I always like to ask my guests, if you could give advice to your younger self, what would you tell a young Mike Coleman?
I mean, if I could do it all over again, I would say there's people out there that are willing to help. You know, I mean, even the Mike Coleman that's me now, I still have people that I can call on, and I think at younger ages we don't really want to listen. You know, they're quick to always tell you, "Unc, get up out of here, Unc. You don't know what you're talking about."
Right.
You know, and Unc really know what he's talking
right.
about. You know what I mean? Like that's their favorite line. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, and that simple message could save a whole lot. Whether it's Unc telling you to get up out the streets, whether it's Unc telling you about his shortcomings, whether it's Unc telling you, you know, how to get some money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think just advice, sound advice and mentorship is huge.
Have you started to indulge in like becoming a mentor and mentorship?
I do speaking. There's people that call me for speaking. I did some speaking at some schools and things of that nature. So I mean, I think on that level right there, I kind of I do what I can, but a lot of these kids have already kind of made up their mind.
Yeah.
About what they want to do and the direction they want to go in. And so sometimes you have to be very careful of how you're mentoring. Mentoring could come off as reprimanding, you know, and some of these kids, the headspace that they're in, you may have once been friend, and now you're a op.
Right.
You know, so you just gotta kind of be careful with that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you know, like I said, I do give my 2 cents, and 2 cents is about all you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
All right. So what? Before we get out of here, tell the people what you got coming up, man. Anything that you got going on. Tell them where they can find you at, where they can find the companies.
I got landscaping coming up. I got some fall cleanups. I mean, some spring cleanups coming up.
Mm-hmm.
The weather finna break a little bit.
Definitely.
Always got deals at the restaurant. Food trucks gonna be out, moving around. You know, book us.
Do you have any specific events that you're gonna be working with the food trucks coming up?
For the main ones for sure. Scoop the Loop.
Mm-hmm.
Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anything that's big where they sell food at, we're gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll be there if it's something big, and it's a food event or whatever. However, whatever people want to call us for, you know.
So have you tried to move out to like some of the other stuff like outside of the area, like the Lake County Fair and things of that nature? Have you taken the truck out there?
I haven't took it out there yet. Those right there again. When I go back to advice, I've gotten advice on those. Those require a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
They require like a 1 week or 3 to 4 day commitment.
Oh, okay.
So I just want to make sure that I'm fully committing to those 4 days. They, as far as financial wise, they do great for sure. I just want to be prepared. I know every year things get better. You know, every year things get better for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, just from experience and the things that I do, I suck up a lot of information. I may don't apply it right away because my mind is really working a plan, but that'll happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tell the people where they can find you at, man.
I think on social media, 1119 Kitchen and Cocktails, 1119 on the go, Tri-State Platinum Landscape, Twin Tower Entertainment, Tri-State Platinum Properties. So we definitely working and staying busy, and it's just it's up from here.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Again, man, definitely I appreciate you stopping by and having to sit down with me, man.
Yes, sir.
Again, this has been another episode of the Black Carpet Podcast, where we like to introduce you to ordinary people doing extraordinary things. We'll see y'all next time.
Going coast to coast when we dine out. Put the culture on the map when we flying out. Know I gotta win when we ride out. And I ain't gotta spin when I buy now. Love, power, respect is on our mind now. If I don't tell you when, I mean right now. I ain't allergic to it. King flow through my blood when you heard the